Welcome to your Daily 5 for Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. If you've been anywhere near, movie or entertainment discourse in the last few days, you have no doubt seen at least an article title, if not read something about the ongoing Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods, whatever that's got. It's so ridiculous. Between The Rock saying that, DC essentially, or fans screwed over the movie, and now Zachary Levi, or whatever his name is, who's the lead for Shazam, is saying essentially the same thing, but it's also blaming The Rock. And of course, DC is rebooting their whole universe. And honestly, I don't care about any of the interpersonal whatever that's going on. I don't really care who's right or wrong. When I saw the thing about, apparently, and this could be completely wrong, but what is being said is that originally at the end of Black Adam, instead of Superman showing up, the idea was to have Shazam showing up and being recruited into the Justice Society. And initially, that sounds like it makes more sense. You think about it, that Shazam and Black Adam, of course, in the comics are very, very linked together. And so on first glance, again, that does sound like it would be the logical thing to do. But, now I haven't watched Fury of the Gods, obviously, and I'll be honest, I have not watched the entirety of the first movie either. I watched about the first 20 or so minutes, and I thought it was okay, but it wasn't for me. I've never been the biggest Captain Marvel fan. In that particular comics universe, Black Adam has always been the character I was interested in. Shazam himself, or Captain Marvel, or whatever other name he's gone by, I didn't really ever care about that character. I never thought it was all that good. It always felt like a weird attempt at doing another Superman, which is essentially what it was. So I didn't really care, but I watched the movie and I didn't think it was bad. I just don't think I didn't have enough interest to stick with it, but I could tell it was made for a certain type of audience. And I did appreciate the fact that at least it didn't feel like it was a grim, gritty, miserable film. So I actually liked what I saw and where it seemed to be going in that regard. And from what I understand, that is the movie and the new one are meant to be more fun, family type of movies, more, general audience, fun films. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you watched Black Adam, you understand that that's not what that movie and that character's tone was. In fact, it's the opposite. And so, while, yes, from a comic book logic standpoint, those two characters being in the same movie would make sense. If you watch the two movies and see what their tone is, it makes no sense. And I'm not saying that's what drove whatever decision was made. I don't know whether it was made by The Rock wielding his influence at the time, or if it was a DC decision, or what. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts going on with DC, and none of them seem to be in any type of coherence with one another. So it doesn't even necessarily matter. But just from a narrative and tone standpoint, those two movies don't feel like they exist in the same universe. They're so different. The Rock's version of Black Adam was definitely going for the more serious, somber version of the character, where there is murder, where he is very angry, where he has a background of trauma. Whereas Shazam, again, I didn't see the whole thing, but I doubt it changed tone radically at the halfway point, felt like it was trying to be a break from that type of thing, which I think was, again, I would actually say that's a positive, that it was trying to have a little bit of levity and fun in a genre that has, at least in DC's version of it, up to this point, been very dark and miserable and depressing. So it doesn't really make any sense. Yes, it may be a logical follow-through from the comics, but I don't know. Would fans of either of these movies, what would the tone be in the film where they met? Because you could probably play some comedy off of their differences, but the movie still has to have a tone. And I think anybody who liked one movie or the other, you're going to have half of that audience being unhappy with where the movie has gone. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying nobody could do it. I'm just saying based on what DC has done so far, I don't have a lot of faith that that would have been accomplished. And I mean, James Gunn, I don't know what he's going to do, but I still am not sold on what he's doing either necessarily. And not until we see 2 or 3 of these movies come out and understand what's going on. So could he have threaded that needle? Maybe. I'm not going to say he couldn't, but as it stands from what we have movie-wise and what those movies are, I don't know that this ever would have made sense, at least not the way it would have been before the reset. With the reset, it's all thrown out anyway. So in the version of DC that DC was doing, would these two characters meeting in a movie really make sense? For anybody who's seen both, I'd be curious. You let me know, because to me, I can't see it, but maybe that's just me. Later.